Right, hey there, welcome to the stream. Please pardon my few last minute adjustments here. Sorry for a crazy late start time. What's making that noise? It's me. But at least I know I can hear myself. That's good. Tonight's a good stream. My name is Kyle. This is the Printmeister channel, but today we are working on a PlayStation Portable. This one right here, which I've acquired from DK Oldies, along with a few other PlayStation Portables. And this one is not in great condition. In fact, it's non-functioning. It actually does turn on. We'll do a test of it. I went through and checked it out already. So what we're going to be working on today is fixing the Wi-Fi switch, getting it cleaned up. Obviously, we've got some cracks here. So I have a brand new faceplate for it. Yep. We'll swap that out. We'll clean whatever we can clean. I'm just realizing I don't have like a toothbrush and some water or something. But we're going to get this back into working condition. And then I believe we also have some sort of an issue with the UMD drive. And we're going to take a look at that too. So let's go ahead and get started. Move this out of the way. I was going to 3D print something too, but I didn't have time to stop and find something. We'll start with a little demo here. So, as I mentioned before, this was acquired from DK Oldies. In fact, I think it was 11 of them in total. And I knew that they were broken when I bought them. But I've got, let me switch the camera view so you can see it. So, a little tough to make out. This is the shipping label with the awesomely redacted shipping information otherwise. Yeah. Got a whole bunch of PlayStation Portables from DK Oldies. Mainly because I was just browsing around, saw that they were there, and I was very curious to see what the premium, DK Oldies is the premium brand for the used video game market, and I wanted to see what kind of consoles they wouldn't fix, and these were pretty beat up. However, I do have 4 other PSP 1000s that I've already refurbished, and they are in great shape. They're all here tonight. They're rooting for this guy, so let's take a look. It does boot up, as you can see. That was not an issue. Audio works. I've already gone through with every one of these PSPs that I got, and I tested them all out. I can't remember exactly everything that I looked at, but obviously we tested things like the UMD, tested all the buttons down here along the bottom, all of the analog sticks, all the buttons that you would play with, obviously, whether or not the battery charges. I tested the Wi-Fi switch, the power switch, and I feel like there were a couple of other things that I tested out as well that are escaping my mind. Obviously, we look at the screen, look at the casing. And let's see. And then this one, like I said, is having a UMD drive issue. It's kind of tough to see that on the camera. Maybe I change. Let me change the theme settings here. Get a different background color. Be a little bit easier, a little bit more contrast. What looks good? What looks good? Not yellow. Oh, that's pretty good. This reddish orange. So you probably can't hear it on the stream, but the UMD disc is spinning. It maybe sounds a little weak. Maybe. We'll see if there's anything that maybe we can fix just by cleaning it up a bit, greasing up the gears once we open this up, because we are going to replace the screen at least, so we might as well take, no, I'm sorry, not the screen. We are replacing the faceplate. We might as well take the screen off. And actually, I think we're going to have to get to this Wi-Fi switch. So, I think that's pretty much it. So we might as well just keep going. Yeah, it's got this UMD in here, but it hasn't started reading. So Howdy, 80. How's it going tonight? Two PSP 2000 black and two PSP 3000 black and silver. Nice. You got a nice little collection there. Hopefully they're all in working condition. Let's just get this moving. I don't think I have the memory stick in there. Should have prepped my screwdriver, but I did not. I bought these, I bought a bunch of them, actually, in, I honestly can't remember if it was, I think it was 11 in total. And I think I ended up paying like $13 or $15 a console. Where is the one screwdriver that I need? One bit. Yep, and I just wanted to see what would DK Oldies not fix. What's their limit? Because I know if your YouTube stream is anything like mine, your homepage, you're getting all kinds of content creators ordering from DK Oldies and then just getting not great looking consoles. And kind of figured they weren't full on refurbishing them, at least not to the extent that most of these people were expecting. But I knew there had to be some limit of things that they wouldn't repair. I hope this doesn't trigger anyone, but I'm just pulling the sticker off. I know people like it, but I don't really see the value in pretending like you weren't inside the console. So, no, I bought these 4 parts. These were broken. It said so in the listing. It was not supposed to work. Obviously, this one's in like really rough shape. And I had a couple that said they wouldn't turn on. A couple have screen issues. A couple had like UMD door issues, Wi-Fi switch issues. But I have been going through and refurbing them. I got all the parts in for the PSP 1000s. Here's one that I already did. And it's got like, all of them have like new faceplates on them. So I mean, this one's now a little bit dirty. It has to be wiped down, but it's like, this is all cleaned and refurbed and looking really nice. Some of these have like, this one does not actually, but I replaced the rings on some of these so that they look good again. We had a couple that needed new analog sticks. A lot of these often miss thumb caps because they just fall off. Yeah, this guy mostly works. It's just the UMD disk the drive doesn't read all the time. And the Wi-Fi switch is busted, and then the overall condition is not great. I don't have a full-on game plan while I unscrew these screws. If the UMD drive does not work, and I can't get it to consistently work, or it just sounds like it's unhealthy, I'm not sure where that's going to leave me for this stream. I really, really wanted to just get everything fixed on here. But the drive itself is unfortunately kind of an expensive part, and it just really wouldn't make it worth fixing this particular console. So if that doesn't work, and I don't feel good about maybe selling it to someone else because the drive is no longer working, then I might hang on to it for a little while longer and mod it. I don't know, pull the drive out, add an extra battery in there or something, and just kind of turn it into like a emulation machine. Faceplate comes off pretty easy. Just a few screws. That snapped. That's cool. Work like UMD reading, charging, memory stick. Yeah, okay. So that is actually, you've included a lot of the things that I did check on them. Memory stick reading was one I forgot to mention earlier, but I did check that. I checked the speakers. I did check the audio jack. Most of that stuff worked. When these came to me, they either said they didn't power on, or the screen had a problem. Screen's a big one. And then the Wi-Fi switch and a couple of them had some problems. Like this guy does. Take away the front panel there for those buttons. And pop this LCD out. Come on now. Usually all you have to do is get the frame separated from the screen. There's a small tab. Once the screen goes above the frame enough, easy enough to take out. But there we go. I was going to say, I was struggling with that a lot more than normal. The screen actually feels like it's still kind of tugging or stuck onto something. It has like an additional tab maybe. Oh, there we go. And so yeah, Wi-Fi is something that we're going to be fixing on this one too. The switch itself is still nice and clicky, but it's kind of an involved process to get to that switch. We're going to be disassembling most of this, and so I'm just going to replace it when I get there, opposed to trying to clean it or anything. This is interesting. I don't think I have seen a yellow sticker in any of the other PlayStation Portables that I've already fixed. Wonder what that's all about. Not that it's really important. Okay, we got the screen out though. Next step will probably be to get out this bracket. And it's already feeling late. I did 5 of these just a few weeks ago, and then this one I kind of like, I don't know why I didn't keep my momentum going. 5? 4. I did 4 of them a couple weeks ago. And it almost felt like a reflex opening these up, and now it's already kind of like, wait a minute, where do we start here? What do we have to do? Yeah, the screens are a relatively easy fix. You can see I already got mine out here. If I wanted to, I could put a new one in. But this one actually had a good screen, so I'm going to just leave it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 screws hold down this bracket. And then it's kind of interlocked here with the open switch. And it comes out like that. Here's the UMD cable. And that drive itself, this was having some issues reading stuff before. And before I forget, I will address. We'll do a couple things to see if we can't. Actually, maybe we'll see if we can like fix it first without reassembling everything and just test it out a little bit. We'll take a couple steps here though. I need a toothpick. I'm going to get just a little bit of grease here in these gears so that there's nothing really in the way. And yeah, the screens themselves are pretty easy to replace, and they aren't expensive. They're pretty cheap. You can get them. I replaced the screen in my own PSP that I found that was broken for like $30. Let's get contact cleaner here. Actually, we'll go with the alcohol instead. Alcohol and a Q-tip. Touch up this laser a bit. Actually got stuff in the way here. Get it from both sides. And then adjust the potentiometer on the laser strength just slightly. Get something that fits that. Where might a tiny... Oh, we can just pull it out of here. A tiny little flathead. I don't know why I said flathead. It didn't need to be flathead. It actually could have been a Phillips, but that worked. Doesn't really matter. Tweezers are right here. I'm going to plug the cable back in. I'm going to put the UMD in there. Spin it up and see if we can't get some sound that suggests that the game is ready to load. We should be able to do that. There's not really... I mean, we're missing the screen, but... The question is, will it turn on? Oh, yeah. Well, we got a green light at least. Got some audio. So the system has booted. Now let's pop this UMD in and see what happens. Oh, I need the battery cover. Back in there, you. See, the laser is... See if I can get... Not great lighting for this. You can kind of see this little thing clicking back and forth here, and I'm pretty sure that it's trying to get the laser to focus. But you can see the laser moving. That lens going. By now it should have started reading it. to adjust this ever so slightly. Ice Silver PSP and the God of War Chains of Olympus. I remember that Chains of Olympus one. I had that game. That was a sweet game. Why am I going back for the flathead? I already said that I didn't need that. The Phillips would work. That's a Y. I don't remember the, what did you say? Ice silver? I don't remember the look of that. I got a couple gray ones from DK Oldies. They're in such bad shape though. They're gonna be reshelled completely. I'm gonna have to put something custom on them. They look like garbage. Yeah, like, is that what your brother had? This one's already got a replaced battery cover on it. It doesn't even match the back. I guess this one doesn't look as bad as I thought, but there's another one that the serial number's all scratched off and it just doesn't look nearly as good. It's this one. Yeah, see, and here's their sticker. DK Oldies. Okay. We played with the potentiometer a little bit more. Let's see if that helps the game fire up any better. It's weird that when the carriage resets, it like doesn't know its position because it sits there and it clicks and it grinds the gears a little bit. Get back in here with the Q-tip. I don't think I cleaned the underside of this prism. That actually kind of sounds like it might be reading because it's spinning faster now. Oh, no kidding. Too bad it's in such bad shape. And yeah, the PSP repair time is not too bad. It kind of depends on what's wrong with it. If it's a broken screen and it, like, especially on the 1000 series, it's real quick. It's actually a very easy fix. This, what I'm doing, trying to troubleshoot the UMD drive a little bit and even getting to this Wi-Fi switch is actually very time consuming. Okay, so that did not appear to work. I'm going to give this one more quick try. I don't even think I can get this under really. Okay, you know what I'm going to do instead? I'm just going to hit it with a bit of contact cleaner. We're gonna put the UMD drive troubleshooting to the side for a moment. Let me just double check and make sure this is okay to use. Most plastics, rubber, and metal should be okay. I would hope. We'll just hit it with a bit of contact cleaner and then move on to more disassembly so we can get to that Wi-Fi switch. I should have demoed what it does when the Wi-Fi switch is switched. I think it just says that there's hasn't been turned on. I don't have to do too much here, but okay. That was like slightly more than I wanted to do. We'll just give that some time to dry while we keep chugging along. I'm just going to disconnect this now. And I don't think I have to pull out these buttons here, because this is all, the whole motherboard's assembly is over here, but I will have to unplug the power. I will have to disconnect these buttons. That, and I think this guy used, walk this out. I need to grab some slightly stronger pliers for that, just to get a better grip. These are extra beefy. I'm going to be really careful here and just wiggle. Come on. Man, this guy's giving me problems. I really don't want to squeeze anymore, or else risk damaging the connector. Get something to this guy and just pry it out a little bit. Although actually, it is going to be tough to wiggle out because it looks like the connector is recessed compared to this black part here. So maybe we use our brains and get this motherboard a little bit closer to being disconnected. Then we can worry about that. Two speaker cables down here. How's the view? Should we zoom in a little bit more? Really don't like these delicate components. That's what you get. It makes it worse when the tweezers, yeah. See, these actually come out really quite easy, but the tweezers snipping and snapping like that make it seem like something's about to break. And I don't love that. No, speakers disconnected. Ribbon cable here. This ribbon cable out. Sitting really recessed in there. That's okay. Still pretty easy to get to take out. We got the mini USB in the housing. Just kind of have to gently separate that. And we got to take the metaphorical D-pad and disconnect that. I'm wondering if this is a 1001, because that blue screw is not blue in all the other consoles that I opened. And I've never seen this yellow sticker before. And what else is different? I don't know. Not much else. Holy smokes, this guy's going to give me a... Do that part last. I think we've got all of the screws off the board. Need to get this cable to release, and it's under the buttons there. We might need to pull that board out. You don't know why DK Oldies sell their PSP 3000 overpriced. I used PSP 3000 for $220 for a black one, $240 for a silver. Yep, I think they charge a lot for their stuff. They're... I don't want to like completely defend it because I would never pay that amount. But then again, I like to fix my stuff, so I probably wouldn't buy it from them anyway. But I feel like everyone is like dragging on them right now, so I'll play the devil's advocate here and say that at least they've got that nice warranty. So if and when it breaks, you can swap it out and get a different one. Also, they do package the shipping cost into that price. I'm not really too in the know with what online retro gaming retailers are selling stuff for, but I know that DK Oldies says that the shipping is free. It's not free. You're paying for it with the console. Someone's got to pay for it. eBay's they're selling for $100. Yep, that's quite the difference. Of course, there's no warranty on eBay. I mean, unless the seller happens to offer a warranty. All right, I'm convinced that this power cable is stuck. It's not actually stuck, but I really, like, I've already pinched the connector more than I want to. We're going from top down with plastic because it's more gentle. There's some progress. There we go. All right, let's go. It's out. Brand new? How much did you buy? Is when you're saying, hey, how much did you buy your silver PSP for? You get it new? This cable's in the way, and this guy has to come out. We're gonna do this. How much? How much did you buy? $25 at the flea market. Wow. That is a good find. How long have you had it for? I do feel like the video game retro gaming prices have taken a huge jump in the recent past. I don't think this is being held on by anything other than some clips here, but they don't want to move. I don't want to overflex this board. Oh my gosh. There we go. One side out, the other side should be much easier. Bro, what is up with this? Don't remember this Wi-Fi cable being so oddly tucked in there either. 4 years. Yep. That sounds about right. It's funny, I remember looking at stuff on like Facebook Marketplace, old consoles and whatnot, and they were like so cheap. And I was like, maybe I'd like to have that, but nah, it's all garbage. And now everything is way more expensive than it used to be. There we go. One motherboard. Actually, very relieved we don't have to do any more disassembly. I mean, unless we end up pulling out the UMD drive. Ooh, original Sony battery. That's nice. A couple of these have one too. Obviously, this one's not. I'm almost surprised that DK Oldies didn't pull those out. Probably because you can't really guarantee how well they'll work. Okay, so now I'm inspecting the switch here. It's kind of tough to tell. Oh, no, not that tough. I could show you exactly why it's not working. Even though it's nice and switchy. We're going to see how close we can zoom in. We can zoom in that close. But we need focus. Can't get focus. Let's zoom out and bring the part to it. Come on and focus. It's not gonna. One of the legs is broken. At least one. It's this guy right here. And I had that on another one, and it was actually this leg and this leg were broken. This one seems to be okay. Oh, no. It's either it wasn't okay or I just made it not okay. But that's all right. That is okay because I bought new Wi-Fi switches. What with these being so small and delicate, it didn't make sense to try and clean it or fix it or whatever. Especially when a pack of these things can be had for next to nothing. You always buy a new battery, go for the EBL battery. EBL. Not sure what that is. Their battery is almost like Sony's. Just like Mama used to make. I take it EBL is a brand name. Yeah, we get nice little like strip of switches here. And I got a whole bunch of them. I think I paid like 10 cents a piece. Probably not even that. Quick adjustment here. Okay, I gotta get the switch out. This very fine, thin film of a plastic. I can't believe I forgot to demo the Wi-Fi switch before ripping this thing open. I already recorded the testing process on all of these though, so I know I've got that on film as to what's wrong with it, but it would have been nice for the live. Good note for next time. An EBL battery for 3 years now on your PSP. Very nice. I love a good value. You got to go second hand. It's nice to get one that is nice quality. Not second hand, third party, I should say. Just examining the board. I don't see anything crazy going on. So the heat gun going. Start at 275 and see where that gets us. Flux. Need a rogue piece of filament to apply this flux. Grab one. Wait. That's not going to work. But this will. Need a microscope or some glasses or something. Camera mount. Camera tripod's kind of getting in the way here. You think I'm going to need more heat than that, though? All right. Nothing yet. Wondering if I should turn up the fan, get the intensity of the heat a little higher. I don't do too much rework, so still not great at it. Eventually, this is all going to heat up, and then I'll be able to pull this switch away. I think we got the left side going. Like it. Some of the front there. I'm going to disassemble this, rip apart this switch before it actually comes out. Pause and take a look here. It definitely started to just come apart. The legs got out, it's just these back ones here that are not flowing. Give them a little bit more flux. Not that much. That is too much flux. $210, $215 for a PS2 console. What do those go for on eBay? Bro, come on, what is happening here? Well, putting the new one in is easier than taking this one out. It's all but like melted plastic now. Thankfully, on the other one that I did this to, it was a lot easier to install than it was to take out. I'm just going to flex the crap out of this. There we go. I got one leg. It definitely separated. Another. Come on. Down to the last bit. Use a clamp or something to keep this thing down. You know what? Now that all that other stuff is out of the way, I don't know what I'm doing here. Now that the rest of the switch just kind of disintegrated, I'm just going to use the iron because I can get right in there. That in the first place. Your Doc was hinting at this flux as the flux capacitor when he made the word flux famous back in the future. Yeah, you know, he might have been. Smart fella. All those gigawatts or whatnot. For this to heat up a little bit more. $200 to $120 for a PS2. Yeah. That's a lot. You got a lot of good flea markets out by you? I don't really have any around here. Used to be a big one, but they shut the whole trade center down. There we go. See, that was so much easier. Why was I sitting there messing with that stupid heat gun? Give this just a minute to cool before I clean it up. Get ready for the new switch. Average price of a PS2 near you is 20 to 50 bucks. That's more like it. That's what I was kind of thinking those things should be going for. 50 would be fine. The idea of buying any kind of console for like $20 is kind of crazy to me. Even if it's all old, there's still a lot of tech that you get in there. Brush. Use my camera here as a microscope. That looks okay. Get out of the way. So the switch was stuck on the board. This just turned off. I'm going to turn it back on and use it to accelerate the drying process for this. The alcohol that I applied. Just got to wait for this rework station to temp down. Don't want it to be too hot. $30 for a mint PS2 Slim. That's awesome. Hey. To dry this off a little bit. And I need grab a paper towel to wipe my workstation down real quick. Made 50 bucks on that PS2 Slim because it was practically new. That's good. You do a lot of flipping? Collecting and upgrading. Yeah, I suppose a few sales come with the territory. This was a poor. I thought that this applicator for the flux was going to be better, but it's not. It's just a piece of printer filament, but some have worked out really well. This is not one of them. Oh, nice. PS1 library, you're about 40K in games. Few arcades. I'd like, you know what? I like to call myself a video game collector, but compared to what you have, and compared to what like a lot of people have, mine's like nothing. I've got some consoles from my childhood. I've got not much. Like I've probably got 20 Nintendo games and 20 Super Nintendo games and just like Xbox. Like I got a wide spread, but nothing's very deep, nothing's very like nice, nothing's very clean necessarily. But I just like having them. Move this solder into better position so we can get these pads retinned. Bump the heat up on the soldering iron. Use that unleaded solder in these. Melting temperature is too high. Missing out on some Dreamcast stuff. That was a cool console. My friends had one of those. Are you just like going for everything? The full sweep, get all of the things, all consoles, all manufacturers. And Addy, if you were going to sell your Game Boy Color for $15, I would have bought that off of you. But I'm guessing that wasn't recent. Get this guy into place. And get the rework station heating up again. There we go. Just a minute there. Yeah. You're just grabbing all the consoles and keeping an archive of games so ROMs can be used legally. I hear that. I would definitely like to do that, but that's dedication right there to try and acquire all of that stuff. Honestly, I don't know if I would be able to stretch my time amongst finding all those things. You know what? I don't think I refluxed that. Right off, yep. This garbage flux applicator. You know what? I'm just going to get a different one. I need something that's a little bit more precise. I don't want to have a ton of flux on this thing. 1,200 games. This will work. This will definitely work. Now I've got a nice rigid piece of filament. 100 games a week. I could see that if you're like bulk buying, maybe. Is that how you did that? Go to a garage sale and just take the whole bin. Now that we got some leaded solder on there too, hopefully this is going to be a lot easier. A lot easier to get this chip to stick. Not chip, the switch. I don't know what I'm saying. It's too late. Should be sleeping. CD buffer comes in clutch, I'll bet. 3 random marketplace ads. Tell you, $30 spent worth roughly 500. That is awesome. Wish that could be every day, you know? Supposedly, once this all liquefies, it's just going to grab onto the piece. Honestly, it feels like it's on there already, but I just don't love how the front leg of this is sitting. And that back leg's not on there. Let's see. Just gonna tack that down with the soldering iron. One leg's kind of stuck up. Two rare PS2 games, MVC2 and DBZ and Kaichi 3. I don't think I played those. I think I played Budokai. That's the name of a DBZ game, isn't it? Might have been GameCube. Okay, take a look here. Nope, that's not going to work. I don't like that. That's a super hard switch. Pull that off and try again. Gosh darn it. Marvel vs. Capcom 2 and DBZ Budokai. Yeah. Okay, Budokai Tenkaichi 3. Carl's hunting for an SP and a Game Boy Micro fairly cheap. You know, that's the one console that I'm kind of kicking myself for. I had the opportunity to get a Game Boy Micro. I remember seeing it on clearance at a Target. It was stupid cheap. It was $30. This was, of course, back when they, came out with it. But I was like, nah, I don't need that. Now I would have snatched that up in a second. Up and at 'em. Yeah, the Nomad. Got one for $40, huh? That's a cool deal. I recently bought an Atari Lynx and a good handful of games. I think I paid like 180 for everything, which was not a fantastic deal because the Lynx needs some work, but I kind of bought it because the Lynx needs some work. Seemed like fun. I did check the games out, and realistically, I could sell those on eBay and make close to my money back for just the games if things were to go sideways. All right, let's see. We're at 10:49 my time. I started the stream at 9:40. I'm about an hour in. That's not the worst in the world. We still have to finish putting all this together and testing. And I'm not feeling hopeful about that UMD drive. I don't think that's going to work. So this might be a two-parter. We'll have to get the Wi-Fi switch working. And then I'll double check and see what I can get a UMD for. Get the drive. And I'll either get one or this will be a mod machine. There are often broken legs on the UMD drive. Kind of broken legs. This one sometimes reads the disc. Near the bottom hinge. you suggesting that that's going to keep it from reading the disk, though? That does not seem right. Of course, I could be wrong. Look okay. Slide rails that hold the hinge together get loose. Yeah, I guess that makes sense. Another look at this. I mean, you know, it gets a pretty tight close when it's reassembled, and there is a little bit of space here, I guess. Maybe. Oh, it's also missing a screw, though. Does this need the screw? Um, Maybe it is supposed to have a screw and that snapped. That's a little difficult to see. Let's take a look. Right side sees a tiny bit of sway. Yeah. Maybe like right there. I think that that's supposed to be. What? I'm looking for broken plastic. I think I see it actually. Well, that stinks because I did not see that when I was looking into all of this. The motherboard's out, so I'll have to. Before I tried doing a few things over around the laser and then just holding the game in to see if we can get it to read. It was reading. It has read before, but it just kind of doesn't for the most part. And I would love to just super glue that back together, but I don't think that's going to be a good enough hold. Really should have a new door, which I don't want to wait for. Okay, well, if it needs a new door, then I am going to have to wait for it. At least before it gets sold. But then that means I get to take this thing apart again. We'll test that though. I'm gonna get this switch back in here, and then we'll get the motherboard reinstalled, and then we'll connect everything up enough to get some sound, get it to boot. We won't need the LCD just yet, and I'll hold the UMD in there, and I'll make sure that there's enough pressure on that bottom hinge to kind of keep everything aligned, and we'll see what we get. And if we can get it to work fairly consistently, then I'll know that that was what I needed. And then I'll sell the thing and owe Carl Razzolini a cut of the profits. Well, on this one, so it often warps due to heat. It needs a tiny adjust, and it should keep going well. I don't think that's going to be the case for this one. Let me make sure that like you guys get a good view of this. So right here at this screw hole, underneath this is some black plastic, which is supposed to be connected to this plastic here, which is the door. If I move the door on the UMD drive, you can kind of see that moving. I feel like that. Wait a second. Why would it move though if it were connected? Because it looks like there is. You know, when plastic warps or breaks, it gets like lighter. Certain plastics, ABS and whatnot. It looks lighter in there to me, like it's been snapped. And so I kind of assumed that meant that this. I took it out of the camera so you can't see it. So I kind of assumed that meant that the door was supposed to hang onto the plastic there, and it no longer can. What say you, Carl? We'll see what happens when I screw it back together. Because yeah, I know that some of these screws definitely aid in holding that in place. Typically, it does. What? Typically, it holds that. Place. Oh, should have this ready to go. Sorry for the silence, but I am in focus mode right now. Also quite tired. And I can't tell if that solder has melted. Oh, there we go. That feels pretty good. I think we got it. No, we didn't get that back leg, but I can touch that up, I think, with the iron. The rest of it looks okay and lined up properly. Usually in the 2000 series and up. Though the 3000, the flop door spring can be the issue. Oh, yeah. Oh, they packed it end a little. Yeah. Well, an old selling it could shoot the tongue in the zoom and check it for you. It can shoot the tongue in zoom and check it for you. I'm not sure what that means. This switch feels a lot better. It's not tight like the other one was. Not over tight. Take just a little bit of solder and get this leg down because it is currently not. Bridge those connections because I was trying to touch up the one next to it as well. See if I got it. I'm thinking I did. Yeah, that looks good. Cool. Give this a brush. Some of this other stuff away. And we can start to reassemble, and we'll do that UMD test. I took a couple turns at the potentiometer on the laser already, so I'm going to double check that and make sure that I was just going in the right direction, first off. And maybe make a couple more adjustments. And we'll just see what works, if anything. First, we got to let this board dry out a bit. Get the heat gun going for that. As soon as that cools down, wipe up a bit. So my chair is one of those, like, I don't know if the term is pneumatic chairs. That kind of feels right, but it also might not be. It's got one of those hydraulic lifts on it, to keep the chair elevated, as most office chairs do. And mine was sinking a bunch. And so yesterday I 3D printed like a shim of sorts to go between the wheels of the chair, like that shaft, and the hydraulic. And now I'm sitting much taller, and the chair is not sinking, and I feel pretty good about that. Because before, all of my weight was going to my joints. The chair kept sinking. Rewind this solder up. Posted a video about that chair thing on TikTok and on YouTube Shorts. And it's doing really well on TikTok, and it's doing nothing on YouTube Shorts, which always confuses me. But it is what it is. And some people suggest that I should have just gotten a new, like, hydraulic arm. because you can buy them off Amazon for like 20 bucks and they say they hold 1,000 pounds, which is a good idea, but I kind of feel like the chair should have held 1,000 pounds in the first place. And I do like to 3D print things, so I'm happy with my solution. This is all dried out pretty well by itself, except for right there. Okay, I would say that is pretty well dry enough. We'll work on putting this stuff back together a little bit. Because I do want to test that hinge theory. What I have to keep in mind here, that wireless antenna cable needs to go over the board. Got one cable there. UMD drive cable is there. Another ribbon cable down here. And the speakers. That one and this one. Let's get this lined up. Yeah, I did actually pull on the Wi-Fi cable a bit to give it enough slack. So let's make sure we've got that routed in there good. It's so weird that they put the Wi-Fi antenna on the one side and then made a cable go over the top of the motherboard like this, which kind of prevents you from pulling the motherboard out unless you remove the button daughter board. But you know, I'm sure they just did what they had to do. The mini USB port is back in its slot. Cable is kind of back too. Nope. Something's not right. It's not sitting right. There we go. That's sitting better. Tweezers out. One audio cable. Second. Might as well get that under the tape. So I don't forget. This repair is reminding me that I need to wear glasses. Because seeing all this tiny stuff, or not seeing it that clearly, is frustrating. Get back into place. Probably needed to do this power cable a little bit sooner. I'm sure we can get it in there, yep. And we won't let this hang. We'll put this in too. Go. Let's see. One keeps trying to go in at an angle. Come on, man. Be cool. Oh no, we're not doing this. Oh, there we go. We have other stuff to test. I have no time for your shenanigans. I think we'd probably boot without this connected, but I'm going to put it in anyway. Provided I can put it in. These ribbon cables have got my number tonight. All right, what's going on here? I can bend a little, pull it. I did that solely so the range device is nearly a block. Dude, I did not have this much difficulty getting this cable back in on any of the other ones that I fixed. What is going on? There we go. It took longer than I wanted. Loose screw here. Hold this in place. Okay, that is enough to get the battery in and to get the unit to boot. We will try this UMD nonsense. Unless it just doesn't want to. Plug it in. I don't have. Okay, there we go. Got the audio. Yeah, I'm gonna hold in here. Yeah, so you can definitely see the laser trying to focus and adjust. Doesn't sound super strong though. Get one of these other ones over here. It still hasn't booted. See what this one sounds like. Yeah, it immediately says UMD on here, but it's not much. I don't know if you can hear that, but it's Star Wars. So it immediately showed that there's a UMD in here and the one that I knew worked. And it wasn't more noisy than this other one, so that's still good, I guess. I'd be skipping the disc without the screen to confirm logo. Skipping the disc. I assume you mean by logo the like the menu entry where it says UMD. I'm gonna do a little bit of research real quick just on the laser. I want to make sure I was going in the correct direction when I was tweaking the potentiometer. PlayStation boot screen logo. Might be skipping the disc without. Oh, so you think without the screen it's just not going to bother loading up? I guess that could make sense. PSP UMD. Um, anti-theft thing. I mean, that makes sense. Yeah, it's an anti-theft measurement, but measure the resistance. Yeah, well, I don't have that set up right now. I guess I've got my multimeter to measure resistance. PSP UMD drive adjustment resistance. Well, all I see is PS2, PS1. I don't see what I'm looking for. We can toss the bracket in real quick. I don't need to screw it down, and we can plug the screen in. See what happens. Yeah, I guess that makes sense. I hate that there's not a more standardized way for that to function. You know, when you've got some of these electronics apart and you don't know, hey, does it need this thing plugged in or will it not post? You know, although it did, I mean, the startup sound happened, so it clearly posted, but, you know, you get what I'm saying. If you're trying to troubleshoot something, it's really nice to not have to plug everything in and just test out individual components. It looks like it's in on an angle, but we're going to go for it. Cool, left the battery in and everything for that. That was smart. Yeah, for the game to post one requires screen. Oh, cool. Now I get to set the date and time. It's this. Still doesn't seem to want to do anything. The other one by now showed that there was a UMD, that there was a disk in there. And I'm going to say this is just a tad noisier. Okay, where does that leave us? We could try playing with that potentiometer a little bit more. We could pull the UMD drive out. I don't really want to do that. It is 11:24 for me. I should not do that if I plan on putting this thing back together at all tonight. Sounds like I turned it down instead of up. Do you happen to know which direction is down versus up? Because we can go in the opposite direction. I am not opposed to just throwing stuff against the wall. I gave it the college try. We looked on the internet first for a solid right down instead of up. Yeah, I was doing right. I was doing right. We'll do right a couple more. I did look on the internet for a solid like 30 seconds there. You all witnessed it. I know I didn't put the screen back in. I'm just going for it. What series? This is the 1000. Flips opposite for Japanese. Well, I don't think it's Japanese. Everything's been in English. Although I did notice that the screw colors were slightly different. I kind of figured that meant it was a 1001 instead of a 1000, but I'm not sure. Try a slightly different bit here. It's so tough to tell if that was turning. Bigger. Not that big. That's too big. You know what? My other screwdriver set. Yeah, just a tenth of the turn to tune it. Yeah, I know. Before you we did turn it a bit before you got on. At least I think before you got on, unless you were silent at that point. But now it just needs more. Or we're just gonna try more. So glad everyone came out to watch me flip between different types of screwdrivers here because nothing seems to want to fit in this where I feel, oh, there we go. I want to say that definitely turned it. That looked better. Power cord back. Ooh, it stopped. We gotta get the screen back in here now. It didn't like something. Or it knew what it was, or it worked and it was like slowing down because it knew there was a disc in there. It could be the good thing. It doesn't have to be the bad thing. Hey, oh, got in when I pulled the driver. Well, thanks for sticking around thus far. This has been a good time. The drive, it does feel a little smoother. I mean, I might just be convincing myself of that. The menu is not doing anything. It is like thinking about stuff right now. That is weird. Maybe I put the UMD drive too far out of alignment and it's very frustrated with me. So I open the UMD, and then the menu pops up. Yeah, stop's dead. And it's still sitting there thinking about it. So you say it's not dead stopped. It found a disc, but it was a bit too high. Overshot the alignment. Yeah, all right. That sounds logical enough. I'll buy that. That's good though. Like that gives me hope that this could just be an alignment issue. I'd like that a lot because I don't want to wait for more parts to come in. I already have to wait for the rest of these. We'll see if it dead stops again. I just want to hear the Star Wars theme without seeing it on the screen. That'll be a great moment if and when that happens. Another dead stop. One more time just in case my finger had to open the tray. Yep. I have a game. Do I have a UMD movie handy? No, just the game. Just Star Wars Battlefront. You have a movie and it reads, but the disc don't, then it's way too high of a laser. That's good to know. Maybe I should invest in a UMD movie. When I bought Battlefront 2 here, I was between this for like $8, or I think it was Lords of Dogtown for like $2. It was one of my toughest choices that I've ever had to make. I wish I knew what resistance it needs because I've got a multimeter that I can attach to this. I knew where to probe and what reading to get. That might take some of this guesswork out of it. Lords of Dogtown often skipped in early versions, probably because of all the skating they did. Movement was too fast for the CD to read. Might have to plug the LCD in again. I feel like we've come around to the point where I've at least undid what was done before. No kidding. That's oddly specific. Was it just Lords of Dogtown that the compression was botched for? All right, we're gonna put this back together for a minute. I feel like I already said it was 11:36, but it's 11:36 for me now. And I shouldn't stay up too much later because I do have to work tomorrow. I at least want to check out this Wi-Fi switch and see if that worked. And I might need to do like more research on the internet to see if I can find what these are supposed to read at, or at least where to read them. And then I can just take a reading off of one of the other ones that I have. Yeah, it was dropping frames. That's so weird. So there's our screen. Put this in again for funsies. I like funsies. Thinking about it, it's thinking about it. I feel like the other one would have popped up by now. Yeah, it stopped spinning. So pause on that for a moment. Let's get over to the Wi-Fi settings and see what's up. Okay, network settings. Create a new connection and scan. And the light is green. No access points were detected. Let's move the switch in the opposite direction. No access points were detected. Scanning. A wireless LAN switch on the PSP system is not turned on. Oh, that's a bummer. You guys can't see that because of the contrast. Here we go. So now it's saying the wireless LAN switch. Oh my gosh. Come on, man. Show up here. Let me see. I can't believe I took this moment away from you all. The connection error. Yep. Wireless LAN switch on the PSP system is not turned on. So if I flip the switch that we installed, I forget which way it was supposed to go just then. Down. And scan again. Nope. Gotta go up. Up and then scan. Nope. Wait. Which one is it? Oh man, maybe we didn't do this. Still scanning. There we go. It found it. Might need to clean up that switch a little bit more. But it's actually found a network. I think that we need a little bit more contact cleaner in that switch. And I've gotten all the flux out of there like I wanted to. Playing around here for a second. On. Click. And then it just didn't detect it. There's a couple PDF files, full teardown of the PSP. Last time you saw it was a good couple years ago. You can hotspot your phone, and it can connect to the device and be an easy link testing wise, as some modems don't work in PSP for finding. It's 802.11b. Yeah, cable. And WPS tether works wonders. Well, I suppose. Let me. Connect to the device. Some modems don't work. Let me pull up my personal hotspot. It's already up. It's not going to work. Maybe that setting gets changed. Finding the other one though. Not that time. I do consider that somewhat of a win though, because it was doing nothing before. So that's a plus. Take that out again. Granted, I'm not seeing the whole thing here, but the antenna looks fine. Let's see what we're working with here. Connection is there, but it's awfully weak. I could see this better with. See, that doesn't look too bad. I wonder if that's meant to be bridged. Micro crack or switch showing a false positive. think this should work off so you could skip the thing a little and not switch modes. Yeah, I was kind of thinking about that. Um, I'm not overly worried with it not always picking up the the Wi-Fi because, like you had mentioned, like the advanced routers don't often fully support 802.11b. And I remember my PSP 2000 back in the day when I used it had problems connecting to the network even. I was kind of counting it as a win if we even saw anything in the first place. There we go. That free. Possibly add a bit of flux in there. Still. Oh, now that's got to dry. Needing a drive or Wi-Fi. Yeah, I know. Like, I could have shorted the Wi-Fi connection, right? And then it just would have always been on. I don't know why you would turn it off in the first place. Probably to conserve battery. But there's part of me that wants to try and preserve the original functionality of the console. If I can't get the UMD to work, then that's the plan for this one, though. It will. I'll probably pull it out, mod it, throw a bigger battery in there, and then it'll just be an emulator. And I mean, it can still be a PSP. You can still custom firmware. It'll play the ISOs and whatnot. But that's what I'm kind of thinking. See if I can get this board back into place while we wait. I'll take a few more minutes since I just sprayed some contact cleaner in there. We'll look online again and see if I can't find the the resistance reading that's needed on the UMD. If I can find out how to do that, then we might be in good shape. Depend is it for me or the customer? Well, hold on, let's back up a bit here. Enough wriggling it'll work. 256 gigabyte stick with custom firmware can literally cover most of the archive. Yeah, is it for me or customer? Depends on the condition that it ends up functioning in. If it's not consistent enough, I'm not going to sell it. Um, I've got others. I bought this in a batch with 11 other or 11 PlayStation portables from DK Oldies. They were broken for parts. Um, so if I'm not comfortable where I feel like it's going to work all the time, then I'm just going to keep it, and I will. I'll just use it as an emulator or give it to a friend or something like that. A couple buddies that would appreciate having this. Let's look up PlayStation Portable PSP UMD resistance. Let's do resistance. Oh nope, that's the name of the game. UMD potentiometer resistance. YouTube videos, nothing I'm gonna watch right now though. That's a good idea. PSP schematic. UMD in there. UMD 1000. Download a repair guide, instruction manuals. see it. Maybe this PSP architecture. Main CPU. Available bus design. This one's looking pretty good. We'll find for UMD. UMDs hold either 900 megabytes or 1.8 gigs, depending on their layers. That's not enough info. Huh. Wipeout embedded a web browser to access downloadable content. It wasn't protected against DNS attacks, allowing users to browse any URL in the World Wide Web. Later on, it was discovered that the browser's URL entry didn't verify the input. So entering file disk 0 as the URL would list the contents of the UMD. Already unencrypted. That's hysterical. Slogan is save the console. Yeah, retro repair or something like that. Yeah, I'm familiar with him. I like that guy. I mean, I'm on his Discord, so yeah, maybe I'll reach out to him and see if he knows. Bookmark this. That was a pretty good article. But not doesn't have what I'm looking for. Check this. Oh no, server not found. We might be in the same time zones. Time is it in Nova Scotia? 12:54. Oh, he's an hour ahead of me. Interesting. Doubt Wikipedia has anything for me on this. UMD. Minimum pit length. Uh, UMD or Wikipedia has more info than I thought it would, but I think still what I'm looking for. Let me see here. Nothing obvious. Probe. Well, with it being midnight, man, I really wanted to have this done. I really wanted to close this up since this has been sitting here staring at me in the face for the last few weeks, but I might have to call it. I'm gonna have to get some sleep. I think that's what we're gonna do. So for tonight, this is gonna be the end. I'll do some more research. We'll see if we can find out what kind of resistance the laser is supposed to be at. I'll look a little bit more into the Wi-Fi connector once this finishes. I'll let this dry a little bit more, and we'll see what we end up with. So that's it. Thanks so much for stopping by. Carl, thanks for all of your assistance tonight. All that info has been super helpful. I really appreciate that. This was fun. I'm a little disappointed that I couldn't call it complete at the end of the night, but you know, sometimes that's the way it goes. But that will be it. So thanks everyone for watching. Don't forget to subscribe if you like to see more stuff like this. I'm also on TikTok at printmeister_. That's it. Have a good night. And stop.